today's video is all about real estate as an investment class. So I'm going to list down a few points that you must keep in mind, and because of which I feel that real estate is not the right tool, a right asset class for investment purpose. Of course, you can have a home where you want to stay and you can have your dream home and everything, but if you have to really invest, then real estate is not the right class. And I'm making a specific video on this because I've realized that a lot of people who have huge chunks of real estate, when they come to us and join the elite program, and then we have to really rebalance their portfolio quite a bit. And so therefore it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to do that. Where and the time wasted, time is the biggest lever to wealth creation. So a lot of time gets wasted in that. So I'm going to tell you a few points, some 6, 7 points, why I feel that in today's generation, real estate is not the right investment class. Point number 1, fair value. Okay, so when you go to buy real estate, you don't know exactly at what price you're going to buy. It's very difficult to find out. And when two different people go and buy real estate, they're buying at probably different prices depending on their negotiation skills, right? And we don't even know at what, whether it's the fair price that's been kept by the builder or by the organizer, or it's an inflated price. So we are always not sure about what we are getting into. While if you're looking at other asset classes, whether they are fixed deposits, bonds, debt funds, equity funds, stocks, PPF, any kind of investment you're looking at, two people approaching the same investment class at the same time will always get the same price. So you have that kind of a surety, there is no unfairness involved in it. But real estate, I mean, you're never sure what you're getting into it, whether it's a fair deal or not. And that's why I do not prefer getting into real estate as an investment option. Second big issue with real estate, illiquidity. Now, most people invest for returns. Of course, we do. But returns are not the only criteria you invest money. Liquidity is a very, very vital aspect of the portfolio, and a lot of people ignore it. I've written a lot of blogs on it and I've talked a lot about it to people, but then slowly there is some awareness coming up. But liquidity is an essential part of the portfolio. I have seen portfolios where people have 3, 4, 5 crores of real estate, and still if they need 10 lakh rupees for their daughter's education or in an emergency, they are asking for loan from somewhere. That's the kind of situation they are in. I have seen that they're not able to liquidate their real estate. I mean, that's the pathetic situation they are in. So illiquidity is a big issue. Also, from generating good returns perspective, you need liquidity in your portfolio so that when markets are down, you have enough liquid money to get back into equity. Now, so therefore, if your portfolio is not liquid enough, it's going to be a problem. If you need 10 lakhs out of 2 crores of your own money, you cannot get it because it's invested in real estate. That's a big issue. Selling is a big issue. So I don't really like an investment to be so rigid that when I need my own money, I can't get it. So that's another big issue with real estate as an investment class. Third is maintenance. We have to pay a lot of money to just maintain the real estate. Now, you may feel that we get rental yield and we may get capital appreciation and all. We'll talk about capital appreciation separately. But if you, and also the yield separately, but if you just talk on the maintenance front, most of the asset classes, the modern asset classes that we have today, they are maintenance free. Once you invested, you can just forget about them for next 20, 30 years till you really need the money. But in real estate, you can't just forget it. You have to make sure that if you have a land in a remote area which you have put it for investment, you make sure that it's not getting encroached. You make sure that there's a minimum maintenance, there's a minimum construction done. So all those things, you get involved into your asset, and the whole idea of creating an asset to generate passive income gets defeated because you are actively involved in maintaining the asset. Even if you have a flat in a residential area in a good city, even then you need to make sure that you maintain it, you pay taxes and everything else that's required to put it on rent every year, whether it's painting, whitewashing, general upkeep. So there's a lot of stuff involved in maintaining a real estate, which is not there when you're talking about any other asset class. So I don't prefer it. I want to be away from that asset once I've invested in it. So real estate doesn't suit me. We talk about returns. Most people, and there can be exceptions, but most people do not get more than 7 to 9% returns on real estate on annual basis over a long term. Yes, initially the property prices may go up when you're buying in a remote area which is prone to development, but then there's no guarantee what's going to be the returns over a period of 10 years period. So most returns are like 7 to 9%. Now remember, this capital appreciation of 7 to 9% is before taxes whenever you're going to come out of real estate, which you will, because ultimately you have done an investment, so there has to be a purpose for that investment. So when you come out of it, you're going to pay 20% as taxes. When you buy a estate, you pay 6 7% as registration charges. There's a lot of other charges that are involved. You pay property taxes, you pay insurance, home insurance. So there's a lot of stuff that's involved when you're buying real estate. Even if you're getting a rental yield, a lot of people feel that okay, I'm getting a good rental yield. That's a good cash flow. What? How else can I generate a cash flow? And remember that every asset can generate a cash flow. Even if you have a fixed deposit, it can generate a monthly cash flow. You have equity, debt, mutual funds. They can generate monthly cash flow. So there's nothing like other than real estate. You cannot generate a monthly cash flow. Okay, it's just in our mind. So, from a yield perspective, 7 to 9% returns, and even the rental yield says between 2 to 3% in most areas where I have seen. Even in fact, I read an article yesterday which talked about all across India, the rental yield is around 2 to 3.5% across all of India. So, even if you total them up, 7 plus 2 or 3%, let's say 10% returns, subtract the taxes and everything, you come back to 7, and the maintenance and the property taxes and capital gains taxes, you end up at basically around 6 7% returns, which is just not worth the effort that you're putting into and blocking and the illiquidity that it's creating. I don't feel it's that really great a return. If it was giving me like 30 40% return on an annual basis for a long term, yes, I can take that. Probably I can take that leverage of spending time on it, maintaining it, being illiquid, all that is fine. But for 7%, I have to do that. Not worth my time and money, right? So that's the problem with yield. And some people do compare what Robert Kiyosaki and other American authors keep writing. See, they for them the cash flow that real estate generates is decent enough when you talk about the U.S. markets or other developed country markets. But in India, the scenario is very different. Okay, so you just cannot compare two markets like that. Of course, we talked about tax inefficiency of real estate. So we have to pay capital gains tax if you are even if you're doing a long term investment, which is minimum 20%, and if it is a short term investment, it can be as high as 30%, which again makes it pretty inefficient. And there are other taxes also we need to pay while we are holding the investment, like property tax. Um, some people also feel that there is no cash flow concept except for the poor yield, right? So there is no cash flow that's possible from any other investment. So I talked about it. You can generate cash flow from any investment that you do. It's not difficult to do it. It's readily you can do it online. In fact, when you give your real estate on rent, you don't have a guarantee of a regular cash flow. So if your tenant is out, you have to find a new tenant. That's again effort involved, and then there's no guarantee that there is no gap in the cash flow, while it's more or less guaranteed with almost all other asset classes. Last, the seventh point which I want to talk about is, still in real estate there is a lot of illegal money involved, in spite of whatever government has been doing in terms of removing black money, or the RBI has been doing. There is a lot of illegal money involved in real estate, and handling that illegal money once you sell your real estate is a nightmare. I have seen people struggling with it. So why do lose your sleep over an investment? Why don't we do invest in other asset classes which are much better in terms of giving us a sound sleep, giving us better returns, more liquidity, and all the advantages that we have in other asset classes? So I do not prefer real estate for these 7 reasons, and I don't think it's an investment for today's generation. Yes, it was a brilliant investment, probably one generation back, because there were no other alternate investment options available. Like if you talk about mutual funds or stocks, I mean, stocks were available, but then we had to buy paper stocks, and it was a pretty cumbersome process. Today, with internet in the last 30 years, everything has changed. So I think we can just forget real estate as an investment class. In fact, I talk about quite in detail about real estate as an investment class in this book, Foops, and all these points that I talked about, they're covered in much more depth with a lot more examples in this particular book. So I think today's generation should stay away from real estate as an investment class. Yes, of course, you're free to have your own home and enjoy your own life, but as an investment, it's a strict no for me. Bye bye.